Hello all, this is JC3 from Is This Real? Do you want to start your own podcast? Then look no further than Buzzsprout.com. We here at Green Hour Media use Buzzsprout, and we love the team at Buzzsprout. They are all about helping you succeed. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. Follow the link in our show notes to let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. It gets you a $20 paid Amazon gift card if you sign up with a paid plan and helps support our show. Join us and over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout.com to get your message out to the world.
From the Keith Winston Carroll Studios in Paterson, New Jersey, Green Hour Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, we are going to discuss the exorcism of Roland Doe. So stay tuned. Joe, take us there.
Welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of Is This Real? As Dad said in that intro, tonight I will be taking us to the exorcism of Roland Doe, a.k.a. the true life inspiration behind the movie The Exorcist.
Somehow Roland Doe works with you. Go ahead.
So, as you heard, I'm JC3. We have Big Joe, Dad, and obviously we're already off to a great start, aren't we, Father?
Good evening and welcome to our program.
Tonight we are absent West. We do not have West in the booth with us.
Where the fuck is he, by the way?
He has a very hard work schedule right now. So West is making his money right now. That's what he's doing.
Well, that's what you got to do since we don't make shit here.
Yeah, we don't make shit here. So
buy our fucking mugs.
And then as that monotone voice over there you heard, mugs. We have RoadBlock.
Yeah, okay, keep talking about
is in the building tonight. Hello, Rody.
Okay, first of all, my voice is not monotone. Thank you very much. Second of all, hey, yo, what's going on, everybody?
Mugs.
All right.
Mugs.
Okay,
mugs.
Guys. Let's stop this. All right. We are in our second episode of our Halloween episodes. This is October. Well, this is going to be put on the 10th, but this is the 7th today.
Oh, and I didn't do my really cold intro either.
No, because you had to go and make fun of me. But
nature made fun of you.
So tonight, like I said, we were talking about the real life inspiration behind The Exorcist, and everybody knows The Exorcist. Well, at least I think everybody knows The Exorcist, because we've talked about The Exorcist on this show before. We didn't really talk about the real life inspiration behind the movie. Last Halloween, we did talk about the movie itself and the spookiness, the creepiness about the movie. I think that was before you and Eric joined.
I can't remember if one of us were on it or both
I think it might have.
us.
I think it might have been West.
Yeah, it could have been. To be honest, I can't really remember.
Like I said, I know. Like we talked about it last year, but we're going to talk about the actual story behind this Roland Doe kid, who apparently grew up in St. Louis, and I'll go right into the story right now. So in the picturesque Belle-Noire neighborhood of St. Louis, Missouri, sits a beautiful colonial-style house on Roanoke Drive. It looks normal on the outside with an all brick exterior, and white shutters framing the windows. Huge trees and neatly manicured bushes dot the yard. Yet one of the most extraordinary horror stories turned urban legends in American history transformed this house into a landmark for the macabre and provided the true story of The Exorcist. This story, the true story of The Exorcist, begins in the late 1940s in suburban Washington, D.C. with a family named Hunkler. Their 13-year-old boy, believed to be named Roland, and later referred to synonymously in the literature as Roland Doe, among other names, was despondent over the loss of his beloved Aunt Harriet, a spiritualist who taught him many things, including how to use a Ouija board. Right there, right off the bat. Why spiritualist and then Ouija boards?
Well, they use spiritualists will use a Ouija board.
Yes, I know, but those two things right there attract spirits, attract demons. right off the bat.
Well, they don't attract it. What they do is actually leave a portal open for anything that might be flying by at the time to go through.
90% of the time, it's
Well, once you open that thing, you better be prepared for what's on the other side.
Joshua, have you ever used a Ouija board?
No. I'm actually sane.
Do you believe in Ouija boards?
No. But I'm not going to be stupid enough to take the chance either.
Dad, do you believe in the powers of the Ouija board?
I can tell you for a fact that a Ouija board works. And I'm not going to say because it was ghosts or spooks or whatever, but I'm going to tell you it does move. There is, I've done it once, twice with my cousin, Laura, and we did it, and we both had our hands on the planchette, and it did move. And we spooked ourselves royally. And we never touched it. After the second time, we never touched it again. And I won't touch it again.
Yeah,
for that obvious reason. We asked. Okay, all of a sudden from Harlem, we asked a few questions. Okay, and they were like crazy stuff. But anyway, yeah, I do believe it. I do believe in that automatic writing devices, whatever.
All right, just to let you know, people, that was not the question of the episode. And we continue. In early January 1949, shortly after Harriet's death, Ronald began to experience strange things. He heard scratching sounds coming from the floors and walls of his room. Water dripped inexplicably from pipes and walls. Most troubling of all was that his mattress would suddenly move.
Okay, time out. The story that, I don't know, where you're getting that from, but the actual story itself is that there was no leaky pipes. What it was just the sound of water dripping. They saw pipes leaking. There was nothing about water. That's what made it so weird. They couldn't figure out where this dripping sound was coming without actually anything dripping.
Thank you for that note. Disturbed, Ronald's family sought the help of every expert they knew. The Hunklers consulted doctors, psychiatrists, and the local Lutheran minister, but they were no help. The minister suggested that the family seek the assistance of the Jesuits. What are Jesuits again?
They're an order of priests.
Okay.
Like Salesians are.
Father E. Albert Hughes, the local Catholic priest, asked the superior's permission to perform an exorcism on the boy in late February 1949. The church granted Hughes' request. For the exorcism, Hughes strapped Roland to the mattress and began his recitations. Recitations, okay. But he had to stop the rite when Ronald broke off a piece of the mattress spring and slashed the priest across the shoulders. A few days later, red scratches appeared on the boy. One of the scratches formed the word Louis, which indicated to Ronald's mother that the family needed to go to St. Louis, where the Hunklers had relatives in order to find a way to save their son. Weird. A cousin of the family was attending the St. Louis University at the time of Ronald's struggles. She put the Hunklers in touch with Father Walter H. Halloran and Reverend William Bowdern, whatever the hell. After consulting with the university's president, these two Jesuits agreed to perform an exorcism on young Ronald with the help of several assistants. The men gathered at the residence of Roanoke Drive in early March of 1949. There, the exorcist witnessed scratches on the boy's body and the mattress moving violently. These were the same types of things that had happened in Maryland when the first exorcism failed. Amid these bizarre happenings, Bowden and Halloran, according to their reports, noticed a pattern in Ronald's behavior. He was calm and normal during the day, but at night, after settling in for bed, he would exhibit strange behavior, including screaming and wild outbursts. Ronald would also enter a trance-like state and start making sounds in a guttural voice. I don't know what that means. Okay. The priest supposedly also saw objects mysteriously flying in the boy's presence and noted that he would react violently when he saw any sacred object presented by the attending Jesuits. All these details from the true story of The Exorcist made it into the film, but they were more that didn't. At one point during these weeks-long ordeals, Bowden reportedly saw an X appear in scratches on Ronald's chest, which the priest believes signified the number 10. In another incident, a pitchfork-shaped pattern of red lines moved from the boy's thigh and snaked down towards his ankle. These types of things happened every night for more than a month, and everyone witnessing the events believed that Ronald was possessed by 10 demons. Again, back-to-back weeks now we have a possessed person being possessed by more than one demon, devil. I don't know. To me, I've more than one.
Yeah, it's called Legion.
I've never heard of that.
Well, you got to do your research because it does happen. Because once one finds your body hospitable for their self, it draws other demons because they all want it. Again, this is what the demon does. The demon is looking to escape hell. The demon is looking for a soul or a person that they can take over, and they can, inhabit that person, and they're not in hell. Let's not forget that the demons in hell don't only torture the souls that are there; they torture each other. That's why it's called hell. It's not like they're all in some kind of giant club and they're going to sit around a campfire going, oh. They're not. They're torturing each other. So they're looking for a way to escape. And that is their escape. Unfortunately, when they do and get inside a body, they act like demons. And that's what brings on, they want to kill that person. They want to take that person. It's God's creature. They want to kill it. So that's basically, the backstory of a demon or a devil or whatever.
All right. We'll continue on because we're going to get through this story real quick, and then we're going to talk more about it because I know you guys have some stuff that you want to bring up real quick. But the two priests never gave up as they continued the exorcism night after night. On the evening of March 20th, the exorcism reached an unhealthy new level. Ronald urinated all over his bed and began shouting and cursing at the priest. Now Ronald's parents had enough. They took him to
Alexian Brothers Hospital
in St. Louis for more serious treatment. Finally, on April 18th, a miracle occurred in Ronald's room at Alexian Brothers. It was the Monday after Easter, and Ronald awoke with seizures. He yelled at the priest, saying that Satan would always be with him. The priest laid holy relics, crucifixes, medals, and rosaries on the boy. At 10:45 that evening, the attending priest called on St. Michael to expel Satan from the boy's body. They shouted at Satan, saying that St. Michael would battle him for Ronald's soul. 7 minutes later, Ronald came out of his trance and simply said, "He's gone." The boy recounted how he had a vision that St. Michael vanquishing Satan on a great battlefield. According to Bowden and Holleran, the strange occurrences and behavior ceased after that. And despite providing the true story of The Exorcist, Ronald Hunkler went on to live a completely normal life after that moment. So, that is the true story behind. I know there's probably a lot more that this story didn't get in.
Yeah, there is, but we'll go into that after the break.
Yeah, so, what is our time? Oh, yeah, we can go. We're going to take a real quick break right now, and we'll be right back, all right?
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win seal. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics.
Hey, New Jersey and Pennsylvania. If you need a professional photographer, then we here at Green Arrow Media recommend Captured Moments by Danielle. Professional headshots, school pictures, family, holiday vacations, you name it, she can shoot it. She even does engagement photos as well as boudoir shots for both women and couples. So if you're located in New Jersey or Pennsylvania and you're looking for a professional photographer, remember to contact Captured Moments by Danielle at www.capturedmomentsbydanielle.com.
And we are back. So, as you just heard, the real life inspiration for The Exorcist. Now, I know both of you, because I don't have it. Both of you have.
And he's the host.
See, I have hostly details.
Hostly. Okay.
You guys have
what
more
the
information.
fuck
Shut
does
up!
that mean?
Shut your mouth. You guys have more information about Ronald Doe. I guess we're gonna call him that, or Ronald Hunkler.
Well, they don't know his the real name right now because they obviously they don't want the real name out there. But the guy's got to be in his 80s by now. So I mean, I don't see why that would even bother him anymore. Yeah, there's a lot out there that you could actually put this case up against the movie itself. I mean, the first difference would be basically
Gender.
Yeah, gender. It's a big deal. I mean, what The Exorcist was a girl. This case was a boy.
Age.
Well, Reagan in the movie was 13. He was 13. So it's about the same. But there's a lot.
I thought she was younger.
There's a lot different. Like in this movie right here, in the real story, he became so violent that, like, I mean, when you said before with the spring, that's just one of them. I mean, he literally would swear on top of his lungs at this priest, and it was getting worse. And it was all about jerking off and nasty shit to the priest. And it was
Does he swear worse than we do?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But it got really, really violent, and it just wouldn't stop. And a lot of people say that he might have had some kind of brain disorder, a temporal lobe. Like last week we discussed with what's her name? With you brought it up, Joshua.
The mental health.
Mental health. So but they also said that this kid was actually a very good game player. He could do stuff like that, but that seems to stop when things fly around the room.
Well, yeah, I mean,
kind of like
when shit levitates, everything
right,
stops.
So basically, that's probably, what makes this more believable than just any old.
Well,
case.
And there's also a difference between this week's, this case and the Annalise case, is that this kid wasn't a devout Catholic, devout Christian, and she was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that difference too. Like, and as far as the movie, I know you and I both know the movie very well. I don't know how many times you've seen the movie, Josh.
I've only seen it like 2, maybe 3 times, to be honest.
Hey, but
what? I've seen enough of it. All right. The stark difference was that she was like masturbating with a cross, and he was just yelling it when he was possessed. Like there's differences like that.
I don't think he shoved the cross up his ass.
I fucking sure hope not. Anyway,
God, I hate you.
I think in the movie she was vomiting green matter or whatever.
Right.
That never happened in the real case. Things like that.
At least I didn't read that.
And his head never spun.
Yeah, his head didn't do the whole 360 degree shit. Like, that's just insane. I mean, me personally, I'm trying to find. I lost it, and I really don't know where it's at. The thing they said that Dad mentioned, Legion, like they had it written in Latin what he said exactly, and then they translated it, and I can't find it now.
But I think also what this kid went through as far as the medical aspect that they portrayed in the movie also with, searching the brain. And I didn't read it in here, I know that, but I saw it in the one short YouTube movie. Did he see Faces of Satan?
No, not to my knowledge. No, he basically, after his aunt passed away, he tried to contact her through the Ouija board, and then it got to the point where you heard the dripping, then you heard the scratches, and you heard all this stuff going on around the house, and the parents couldn't figure out where it was coming from, what was going on. They got more involved when the kid, the bed was moving. As you see in The Exorcist, the bed bounced up and around. She's like, "Mother!" And when Reagan's mother jumps on the bed, it's still moving. Well, and this was the same thing. The mother jumped on the bed, and the father came in, and that's when it really got crazy, because then he goes, "Well, we still got a problem here." You can have a mental disorder and you can show signs of strength and all this other stuff, but when you have stuff like, beds moving,
furniture
vibrating,
moving,
furniture moving, shit being thrown around, that's an issue. And basically,
it's funny because there's a lot of exorcism or lot of demon possession stories I've heard where it has to deal with the bed vibrating, either the bed vibrating or the bed shifting in a way. Which I'm like, why would that be such a constant?
Show strength. If the kid's on the bed or the person's on the bed, you're not going to rattle the couch. You're going to rattle the bed.
Oh yeah, I know that.
You know,
but
the kids, if somebody's laying on a couch, you're going to throw an end table somewhere, which has happened many, many times.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it does. Look at it this way: the demonic is opportunist. They're going to do what they can to get their point across and get their deed done, because that's what they need to do, and that's why the bed was shaking or whatever, because they were on the bed. It actually happened that the mother and father actually jumped on the Ouija board with the kid to try to contact Aunt Tilly and go, "Why are you doing this?" But it never came to fruition. That
probably opened up more
right.
holes
It only
for
made it worse.
Yeah.
It made it worse for them, because once one stepped through initially, and it had to happen initially because, like I said, with the dripping was the first thing they heard. So basically, what happens at that point?
Now that wasn't while the
that door's
aunt
wide
was
open.
alive, right?
What?
That wasn't while the aunt was alive with the dripping,
she
right?
passed away
She passed.
first. That's what led to everything, because
Right.
that's why he.
But I also
used
heard
the
stories
Ouija
that they
board.
used the Ouija board while she was alive, and then she died like a week later after using the Ouija board.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. Maybe she opened something up. And
Well, she did
attached the
teach
kid.
him.
Right. So
It was even said in the story. She.
So-
taught
But I
him.
also heard a story that's saying that after they used that Ouija board, like a week or two later, that's when she died.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
She taught him how to use it.
Right.
She died shortly after. He was distraught. Then he used it again to try and contact her.
And then the parents used it with the kids. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
opening it 3 fucking times.
Yeah. Here's another difference. Maybe you guys can correct me. In the movie, wasn't it just one priest? Or was there two?
Two.
Two? Okay. Because in the real life case, there was actually 3 involved in the exorcisms.
And the
stuff
last
like
guy, Father Halloran, the last he died, I believe, in 2006. He was the last remaining priest, and when they asked him to the day he died, they said to him, was this real, or was this kid messing his luck? He says, I sat in a room with this kid at the Alexian Hospital, and a vial of water just flew by me. The kid was nowhere near it. So there was things that were moving around in the room. So he goes, no, this was a true case of possession. And it was made to look, that, of course, everybody's going to try to debunk that. They're going to say, well, but they never debunked the fact that shit gets thrown around.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, well, he talked in a voice. Okay, so a kid talked in a voice. Our kids talk in a voice all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. They never say to you, well, or you ask them, well, that might be so, but what about the vial that flew through it didn't happen. It must have fell off a thing. They don't really want to address that, because by addressing that situation, then it actually, at that point, they can't describe what happened, and they know they can't be right. So that's a big point here.
Yeah, actually, one thing I'm reading is what you just mentioned, Halloran. He was the youngest of the 3, and apparently, at least from what I'm reading, he left about a week before everything ended.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was the last one to pass away, as you said.
Yeah.
Because the first one, Baldern, died in 1983 at the age of 86. And then Bishop died in 1978 at the age of 72. I don't see where it's written when Halloran passed away, than what you said.
I'm not sure. Maybe, I think he's dead. I mean, I don't want to. May he live a strong. I don't know. But I think I did read he did pass away. He was actually, I believe, I'm not going to say for sure, but I think he was actually a consultant to the movie The Exorcist. I think, as you roll the credits, he was on there. I could be wrong.
I believe I read something like that. The younger one might have been more open about the experience,
right,
and gave some insights about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember if I read which one. I believe one of them passed away from cancer. One of them just passed away. And then I don't remember if there was a circumstance with Halloran that I don't recall.
Well, I mean, if you look at the 2 priests in the movie, the one died in the house dealing with the exorcism.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one died in the second movie, didn't he? The one that was possessed?
Oh, you're talking about the movie itself?
The movie itself,
Okay,
yeah.
well, again, the first, the older one passed away first. He died at the side of the bed.
Yeah.
Okay. And
that's when she
that pissed off Father. That was Father Merrin, the one with that. I'm trying to remember the second guy's name, but I can't. He actually, according in the movie, in the book and in the movie, he died by screaming, "Take come into me," whatever, and he jumped out the window down the flight of steps.
Yeah.
Later to find out in Exorcist 3.
That was 3, not the second one. You're right.
Right, that wasn't the case.
Spoiler alert.
Well, that movie was pure fiction.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with it, but somehow they took liberties with that one. And
Isn't The Exorcist 3 the one with the hospital hallway scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one fucked me up.
It's a great movie. I enjoyed the movie. I really do. I think the actors were in it. George C. Scott was in that movie. Really, really good, but a little far-fetched for me. The premise of the movie was a little much.
Yeah,
it was a lot much. It was, I don't want to go into it. I want, if you didn't see the movie, folks, check it out. It's worth a watch. The fright, the jump scares, it's really, really entertaining.
One thing that it doesn't
really
make
true.
sense to me, and why, I guess you would have to go into the mind of a demon or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But it says the red scratches appeared on the kid,
right.
And it says one of the scratches formed to the word Louis, which made the family think of St. Louis, and that's when they went to the hospital.
I also believe that they had the cousin or whatever in St. Louis, so they had people there, and they went there and they were able to secure the house to get this kid possessed or get this kid exorcised. And a funny side note. A couple years ago, Chip Coffey, he's a investigative, he's a parapsychologist.
Yeah.
He goes to all these places. They had it live where he went into the house and into the room, and he freaked out a little bit. Now, I don't know. He said that there was definitely an energy in that house, an energy in that room. But who knows? Again, it could be his imagination. I don't know.
I fully believe, and I know that goes just between you and I right now because I know we have the atheist in the booth, but I fully believe that stuff like this can leave residue of evilness, I guess you would call it.
That's energy, negative energy.
Yeah, negative energy. And I think that goes with a lot of things that happen in general that are considered bad or immoral, like especially like something really bad. Like a satanic ritual spot. There's definitely negative energy in that spot. What's that one place in Kentucky? Hell House, I think it is knocked down now. They had the portal.
You're talking about Bobby Mackey's Music World.
Oh no, I was talking about the one place that Zach Baggins slept in for the night. He bought the house.
That was in Indiana.
Yeah,
it's knocked down. They knocked it down. He bought it and knocked it down.
There was supposed to be like a portal to hell in the basement or some shit like that.
There's a lot of shit that went on with that. Again, that's a little off topic for what we're doing.
Yeah,
here.
but it goes into like the entered bad.
Yeah,
I just call it bad juju because that's just like a word I like saying.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, I definitely believe in stuff like that, where especially something like this, where this kid seemed like he went through the fucking ringer.
It seems that way, sure.
Especially if you're talking about a legion of demons.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, I just found it. Sorry, I've been looking for it this whole time because it's been bugging me. When asked during the exorcism, when asked for his name, Roland responded with "Ego Legionibus," which translates from Latin into "I am legions." Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to find that. I don't know. It was bugging me. I just wanted to read that.
Which is also said in The Exorcist.
Yeah. Well, because if you listen to Reagan, there's a couple things that again, it could be just the one demon, but I know there's like a couple spirits that I think were, if I remember correctly, were in there with her.
Yeah, they did mention there was a few in there, their Legion, all those other, but they never really. They only just
focused on the one.
They focused on the one demon, Pazuzu or whatever the fuck it was, and I didn't even like saying the name because I don't want to give them any recognition. But that was the. Now I haven't heard or read anything about that being part of this. So I don't know where Blatty got that when he wrote the story. Anyway, a side note, March 1st, 2005, that's when Father Halloran died.
Oh,
so he was dead. He did die in
16 years now.
Right. So, I mean, that's, look, I believe personally that this case is really, it's really a nasty one to be able to, when you go from Washington, then you go all the way to St. Louis. And then, and it must have been something because the Alexian brothers actually boarded up that room that the kid was in before they knocked the building down. They didn't want anybody else to go in there, so they were afraid of something.
Well, like I said, it's the bad energy in there.
Yeah.
Like, if you, especially with something like that. But we're going to take a quick little short break, and then we'll be back to talk about whether we believe in the case or not. So we'll be right back.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast, and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history, we also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
Hi, this is Anthony from Multimedia Mafia. If you love what we do and you want to know more about us, head on over to greenarrowmedia.org. On there, you're going to find links to both Multimedia Mafia's show and our sister show, Is This Real?, which is all about conspiracies and aliens and all sorts of wonderful stuff like that. If you want to support us, head on over to our merch page where you can buy a hat or a mug. We have lots of different designs and cool colors. If you want to meet us, we got pictures up there. We have a little biography, and you can even stream the show right through the website. And hey, don't forget to check out our YouTube link, where you can check out all the filming that we do right on our YouTube page. Check us out, greenarrowmedia.org.
And welcome back. So, with this case tonight, and, as we go through our Halloween episodes, and we'll talk about real-life cases of this one, that one, and the third, I just want to let you guys know that we really do appreciate you guys listening more and more, and continuing to support us, even though you have to
tell them, Joey,
buy our mugs,
first
buy
of all,
our merchandise.
Second of all, what was it, 3,700?
We tonight we hit 3,700 downloads.
Yes.
And last week was our 60th episode.
Yep. And what was it? In a month we did almost 600?
630 downloads in 1 month.
Damn, we're killing it.
I want to hit over 1,000 downloads per month. So keep on downloading, guys. Keep on listening. And again, that's not including Spotify. Spotify is different. So we could have over a couple more downloads because it doesn't register Spotify.
Or listen streams.
Or listeners, yeah. So tonight, the real-life inspiration of The Exorcist. Dad, weigh in on it. What do you believe in? I mean, it's really hard to ask a question for this.
Well, it's not like do you believe? It's what part of it do you believe?
Yeah.
I believe in what makes this a very believable story for me is, number one, the aspect of the Ouija board. Once you bring that in there, that gives it a completely different vibe, because now you have the doorway for this to happen. And being that the aunt set it all up, and then, the kid was trying to fervently reach the aunt, and then the mother and father jumped in, there was a lot of activity on that board, which meant a lot of activity came through. That's one aspect. Another aspect is the levitations. The what we didn't really touch on tonight is you mentioned it a few times, the word Lewis on his thing. Well, there was other cuts and bruises on his leg. You said that. When they opened up his
pitchfork on his leg.
Right. When they opened up his chest, there was other things carved in there as well. And if unless this kid has a tolerance for pain or he's really stupid.
Well, the one thing, talking about the pitchfork on his leg, what it says is it started by his thigh,
right,
and it ended by his ankle,
right. Yeah.
So if something's cutting him, that that mysteriously just moves like 3 inches down, that previous spot where that pitchfork is, it's not going to disappear by itself. So it has to be something that's happening. But
the funny thing is, though, when exorcisms are successful, that stuff disappears.
Oh yeah, all of it
literally disappears. And but again, why I believe there's certain aspects. I believe the Ouija board part. I believe the cuts on the kid's chest. I don't believe he did it to himself, even if he had a mental disorder and nobody saw him do it, because people were with him all the time.
Yeah.
Or when they weren't with him, he had no means of doing it. He wasn't going to scratch those deep cuts in with his fingernails.
But that goes into every case of at least possession that we've come across is cuts on the body, levitation, the bed's moving.
Well, the levitations you can't ignore.
Yeah.
You can't. You don't think the greatest musicians in the world can't levitate. They have ways of thinking they're levitating, but they're not. When you have stuff flying around the room, this to me is a clear case of possession. The priest did their due diligence on this one. They worked their butts off to get this kid free, and they did it. And so I believe wholeheartedly that this was a true case of possession. Now, why William Peter Blatty, when he wrote the novel, didn't use it? You'd have to ask him, and he's dead, so you can't really ask him.
The one thing to me, what I think, why he changed some stuff up. For me, I know little girls are a little more scarier than little boys are.
Maybe I guess,
especially with But real quick question: we didn't touch on this like we touched on last week's. Do we know how many exorcisms happened to this kid? They performed.
I think they were doing they did a total of 18. I think I read somewhere 18 and 19.
I read that it lasted no more than a month.
Yeah, so
I don't know how many exactly, but I think it was about a month's time worth of.
And that's weird. If you think about it, this kid, it sounds 100 times worse than last week's possession. And at least what she went through. But she went through a lot more and a lot longer.
There's no timetable for this.
And he survived this kid. She didn't. That's what fucks me up.
Worse.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people think that that her case was his case was worse because of all the shit that he went through and stuff like that. But she went through fucking the ringer compared to this kid.
Yeah, it does seem that way. It does, but
and he survived.
That's the how do you say this? That would be the oddity of possession. No two cases are the same.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's my opinion. Joshua, how say you?
Yeah, Rody, what is your opinion?
Yeah. Okay. No.
I thought Wes wasn't here.
The one word answer this week.
Well, I mean, all right. So some shit happened.
Thank you.
I'm gonna talk like Wes.
Thank you.
I'm talking like Wes.
End of episode. Some shit happened.
Some shit happened. But for me, I don't really believe.
So you were on the fence with last week, but you don't believe this?
Because last week I actually saw and heard tons of different evidence. With this one, for some reason, for me, I didn't. Everything I found was by reading. I didn't hear recorded audio tapes and stuff like that. The more evidence,
I don't think there were any.
That's what I'm saying. The more evidence you provide to me, the more I can either be on the fence or tell you no or tell you yes. On this one, it's more of just reading. And for me, that's not enough. I'll be honest. It's not. You can sit there and give me 100 different possession incidents, and I'll read through. And if I can't find more evidence than just whatever this someone wrote, I'm gonna sit there and tell you no. To be honest, that's just the way I am.
Even though it could be told by 10 million different viewpoints.
If
and
there's
it all
more
lines up.
If there's more than how many people were there? What, 3 priests and the parents?
Yeah.
That's 5 people. Come on.
Yeah, but it's you still.
To me, it's
still 5 people that have 5 different viewpoints, and 90% of it lines up correctly. You're not going to get the same 5.
I want to ask you what I was just saying. It's okay. You don't believe it. That's fine.
No,
Explain, or you don't believe there was stuff flown around a room.
Well, that stuff, I don't know. I can't speak on that. Okay. Only because, like I said, I'm just going from what I read about the whole case. Right. And even from what I've read on different websites, the case is really short. There's not much detail. It's literally just like 3 or 4 paragraphs long on each and every single one.
See, you also have to take this at this point. Like,
at least with the one from last week, there was literally pages of the shit.
And also, Dad, he has...
I think it's more because of the fact that people focus more on the Exorcist movie than anything else, to be honest.
And you have 2 different viewpoints here also, where you know for a fact in your heart, and I didn't do it, but you have, as far as the Ouija board is concerned, where you believe in that power, and
I've seen it work firsthand. So I mean,
to where Joshua,
I've never experienced
has never experienced and doesn't.
You're not going to be able
to
come at it from that angle unless you.
That's what I'm saying.
It.
So when he has that point, you take that aspect out of it, and you can throw up the levitations. As far as we're concerned, because we weren't there, you could literally just tell somebody, be like, "Yeah, this." My lighter's flying around.
That's like with anything, Joe. You can pick apart. You can take apart, take anything out of it, and then it's just another story. But you can't. This is the story. That is part of the story. The Ouija board is. If there was no Ouija board involvement here,
that's if you believe in the powers of a Ouija board.
Right. Well, I'm saying for me, if there was no Ouija board involved in this story, I'd be on the fence. Yeah. I really would, because at that point, I can't.
That's
really,
what I'm saying.
You know. But
when you take someone like Joshua, who doesn't believe in the powers of the Ouija board,
right,
and you're sitting there like, oh, he could have just saw something fly. It's not really. It could have been. And then you're kind of just like,
well, again, I'm presented with what the evidence at hand is. I'm making a judgment call on that.
I'm just saying that's
definitely. And from my point of view, I feel like there's way more from last week with that than for this. I just feel like everything's just way too short when it comes to this. It could be just something's being taken away from the real life event because everyone, like I said, everyone focuses on the movie,
right?
Which is kind of fucked up because that takes away from the actual thing. Whereas last week, there was a movie involved, but it was very loosely based on those events.
Right.
And when you
wasn't
look up,
as popular,
exactly. And when you look up those events, like there's tons of evidence, and like I said, even the audio files, everything's on YouTube. For here, it doesn't seem like there's much. So it's really hard for me to give you a solid, yes, I believe, because to be honest, I don't. Like, there's so much lacking in this, and I don't know why. That's just from my perspective. Okay. So I'm gonna say no.
All right.
As far as my point of view, as I'm concerned, I do believe, and the reason that is because again, it's the same aspects, kind of as you, Dad. From all the possession cases I've read about and heard about, and they all have a linear type of shit that happens,
course of events.
Course of events, floating, levitations, backwards Latin, stuff like that. That's one thing we didn't hear that in the story that this kid said. He didn't read anything backwards, didn't have any different type of language coming up. At least I didn't read that. I don't know if you guys read that in your research.
I didn't read that at all.
Other than the Legion thing, which was translated from Latin, no.
But to me, the biggest part of it is the Ouija board aspect, and I think that goes with a lot of possession cases. Also, there's a hub event,
catalyst.
A catalyst. Thank you. I was trying to figure out the word. A catalyst that this is the reason why this person is in this predicament, and 90%, not 90% time. That's a false statistic. But a good part of the time, I've read a lot of people, we were just fucking around with a Ouija board one day, or we went to this location where people told us not to, or something like that. We found something, something that somebody should not be messing with.
Right.
And they mess with it.
And you know why I'll say no? Even with the Ouija board involved, because I feel like it's an overused trope. I feel like in horror movies that don't involve possessions, use it. Any type of scary movie, even possessions, like
you know why?
Overused, in my opinion.
Because of this event. Because you had an event like, remember, this is 1949, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it's 1949. This is pre-big, like you had your Hollywood movies, but you didn't have horror Hollywood movies that you have now. You didn't have the ghost stories like you had now. Like, Dad, I don't remember any type of Hollywood movie pre-1950 that dealt with ghosts or possessions.
Well, with ghosts, no, but you can certainly say that the Hollywood pumped out horror left and right.
Horror, yes.
But I'm gonna hold this up. You see what that is?
That's the monster movies. I get that.
Movies from,
what I'm saying is like I'm talking about like possession, ghost stories. There was nothing.
No, not possession. No.
Yeah, nothing to because you know why it was like the story. It was described as macabre, to where they didn't want to touch something like that because they were scared.
And you also got to understand, in 1973, no one's thinking that you're going to come and see this movie. Nobody knew about possession. And I'll give you.
It's just like Deep Throat.
I lived through it, so I can tell you this much. Okay, I saw my uncle when him and his friends went to see the movie. They literally came home, and they wouldn't leave the room without 2 or 3 people. They wouldn't leave a room unless the light was on. And I'm sitting there going, now at that point, I'm 13 years old. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? And, and as a 13-year-old kid, you always want, somebody tells you it's a horror movie, you want to see it. I wanted to see it. But I wasn't able to see it until I was about 17 or 18. Because don't forget, back in the day, I come from ancient technology, so we didn't have, unless it was on TV and it was watered down. That's the only way you got it. But when I got my hands on a cassette and I watched it with my grandfather, it actually became a joke. It was a funny thing to me. It was my grandfather just made fun of it the whole time.
And then you watched it by yourself.
And then I one night I watched it alone, and I watched it by myself, and I'm like, oh my God. And then when the director's cut came out, that was a completely different.
Yeah.
That just blew me out of the water, because at that point with the crab walk and all this other shit, you got it in the masking of the faces in there. Anyway, this is a little off topic. I get it, but
no, it's not. You know why? Because I'm trying to get back to the point I was trying to make. Like the Ouija board is a trope now because of stories like this, because of these types of stories where these are true stories that people use these to try to communicate with the other side.
Right. Now everybody's making a big deal out of The Conjuring and the files of Ed and Lorraine Warren. If you were to go into their files, I guarantee you 80% of those cases that they were on, maybe more,
probably
started with the Ouija board or an automatic writing device, which is basically like a typewriter you talk into and looking for a response, and it types out the response for you. This is now, I'm talking like 1966, 67, 68, early 70s. The Perron family, The Conjuring was 1971. So, again, nobody except those people knew it. Nobody but the people that helped knew it. Nobody but the clergy knew it. And when this exploded on the screen, everybody knew it. And it was good and it was bad, because it scared a lot of people, but it also made a lot of people want to delve into the subject and get deeper in it. And it also caused problems because, you got some weak-minded people out there. And all of a sudden they wanted to contact the devil. They wanted this. They thought it was a cool idea. So it was good and it was bad, like everything else on this planet. Anyway, Joe, you want to wrap us up?
Yeah. I'll wrap it up after just one more point. Like I said, you have to take a look at it's like I said, it's a trope now because of its overuse in Hollywood over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
But pre-1985, maybe, that shit wasn't used. Like, we watched and we'll talk more about this next week, but we watched a short documentary about the new Conjuring film that came out last year, or earlier this year, wherever it was. Mm-hmm. And because of COVID, they took a year break between filming, but in 2019, when they started to film, they had a priest come in and bless all the sets and bless all of the people involved.
Yeah.
Because they said the afterlife or the beings, they don't know that we're fake. We're faking it. They think it's real. They think we're really doing stuff. So it's now shit like that has happened. But we've heard, and we talked about it. I believe if you want to go back and listen through our archives on a Green Arrow podcast, I believe we talked about how in horror movies, the sets, stuff happened on sets for these horror movies. Stuff happened on the Exorcist set. Stuff after the Exorcist finished wrapping, stuff happened. Same thing with Poltergeist. This stuff, you mess with this stuff in real life, and regardless of if it's a movie or not, the afterlife or the beings that are being portrayed in that movie do not know it's fake.
Yeah.
So you have to do stuff like that. But to close out this episode, again, I just want you guys to listen, continue listening, continue to download. Go to our Facebook page, Green Arrow Media on Facebook, Green Arrow Media, Is This Real Podcast on Facebook, Is This Real Podcast on Instagram. Do we have a Twitter? We have a Twitter, right? Yeah, Green Arrow Podcast on Twitter.
I think it's, Is This Real PC?
Is This Real PC on Twitter. Sorry about that. And then go to our Etsy page.
By the way, I never even talked this over with you guys, but since I run the Etsy page, we are going to be doing a discounted, a fall, Thanksgiving, Halloween sale coming up. It's going to be 20% off of everything on our page, and we're just trying to get you guys in there and enjoy some of our stuff. If you really enjoy our show, just try supporting us, because we really like doing this and we really want to keep doing it for you, but it does cost money, and we're trying to
keep our head above water.
We're trying to keep our head above water. We're doing good right now. Our downloads are doing good. We have two of the best engineers on the planet that work for this company, and Joshua and Joey.
Thank you.
And check out our other one. Check out Multimedia, because you know what, they're coming to the end of their season, and give them a listen. They're really good at what they do. So we're trying our best here to bring you exclusive content. We have a couple of shows brewing.
Yes, we do.
I don't want to give it away now, but we have a really good one in the works, and hopefully that'll pass the board. I hope.
Also, we have more content going up on our Patreon, guys.
Yeah.
We have now, I think, 5 episodes up. 3 episodes of Wes and his high point. And we have one exclusive interview with Roy Vanderbree that's up. That was just put up today.
Oh, you did?
Yes, that was put up today. So, Roy, if you're listening, you can go listen to your interview on... Oh, I'll send it to you. I don't want you... I don't want to make you
come
pay
on,
for it.
brother-in-law. I don't want to pay for it. Fucking thing. Give me a break.
But yeah, guys, continue listening. Me and Josh are going to be working on some stuff this Saturday to put up for the Patreon.
Yes.
And yeah, so we're really trying to push this stuff out for you guys. I know it's taking a little long, but as I said, our Halloween episodes.
No, we got to punch it in. GreenArrowMedia.org. Support us. Buy
GreenArrowMedia.org.
Everything.
All of our stuff is up.
Also support our sponsors too. What's that?
Captured Moments.
Captured Moment by Danielle. She's great at what she does. You really need to get in there, and she will do wonders for you. So support our sponsors, support Danielle, and see you next time.
Yeah, and we're mulling around maybe doing another live broadcast, episode for Halloween this year, because we had a couple of people listening to our live episode last year, and we had a couple people sending
that was on Facebook, wasn't it?
No, that was on YouTube.
YouTube,
yeah.
Right.
But we had a couple people send Anthony 2 a.m. texts, which...
Can we do that live on Facebook?
Do it again.
We could do live on Facebook. I have to go through this.
Yeah, let's
But let's get out of here, guys. All right, so thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week with the real stories behind the first Conjuring movie. Good night, guys.
Peace.
Remember,
good night, everybody.
Remember, question everything. Good night.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.